There have been rumors of a bitter financial dispute between the esteemed Donald Trump and the America First Policy Institute, AFPI, a bastion of MAGA principles dedicated to formulating policies that support the political agenda of the outgoing president. Trump, ever the conceited one, feels that he is due a magnificent amount from this prestigious think tank. Trump believes he is entitled to millions of dollars due to the extensive funding of his well-known brand. I'll walk you through everything in this video. Please click the subscribe button and enable notifications before I continue so that you may begin receiving our daily breaking news. I'm grateful. On December 28, 2023, Trump bemoaned the think tank's purported exploitation of his esteemed reputation, a statement that was filled with frustration. With not even a morsel of the goods shared, he asserted in a voice that was uncompromising, "I have a divine right to assert my ownership of what is truly mine." The article raises questions about the fairness of this imbalanced equation by hinting at Trump's claim that Brooke Rollins, the renowned head of this intellectual oasis, has profited greatly from his renowned name. However, a legal expert issues a warning. If Trump's demands are fulfilled, legal action could be pursued. Under the trappings of a tax-exempt educational nonprofit, AFPI operates under the rigid constraints of IRS regulations that forbid the contribution of funds to elections or political candidates, including the mysterious Donald Trump. Enriching Trump's personal finances out of nonprofit funds may be interpreted as a covert effort to support a political effort that is sparking a legal fire. These tax-exempt nonprofits are required, by their fundamental principles, to function for the benefit of society as a whole, rejecting any notion of giving people unduly large benefits and making sure people are paid fairly, ensuring fair compensation for the services provided. Donating money to Trump, particularly in the early stages of his campaign, may be viewed as a blatant violation of these noble principles. As Trump expresses his displeasure with AFPI has a financial foundation. Experts highlight the restrictions imposed by law on nonprofit organizations. The claims of a financial upheaval highlight the precarious balance that exists between Trump's ambitions and the regulations controlling nonprofit organizations. Trump's attempt to profit financially from AFPI might run into legal issues. As the situation unfolds, it is uncertain how Trump's attempts to obtain a portion of the funds will align with the legal parameters. The reported tensions highlight the complexities of financial transactions involving political figures and affiliated organizations, reinforcing the idea that nonprofits must adhere to strict guidelines to maintain their tax-exempt status. The combination of politics, finance, and nonprofit rules adds complexity to the continuous difficulties surrounding Trump and his post-presidential endeavors. The U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia has received a motion from Special Counsel Jack Smith in the ongoing legal drama involving former President Donald Trump. Special Counsel Jack Smith has filed an inventive motion to limit in a deft legal maneuver the extent of Trump's declarations in the run-up to his highly anticipated federal trial on Monday, March 4, as reported on Wednesday, December 27, 2023, by credible Fox News. This calculated move aims to prevent Trump from presenting only one side of the story to the jury. Trump's bold assertion that the Department of Justice is one such story is one that the motion aims to suppress. The motion aims to suppress Trump's bold assertion that the Department of Justice is working with President Joe Biden to prosecute him. Moreover, this motion attempts to dispel any hints made by Trump about suspected foreign meddling in the 2020 election and clandestine operatives stoking violence during the Capitol riots. However, Smith's attorneys strongly contend that the defense has been putting together coordinated efforts to introduce partisan political attacks. Smith's attorneys strongly contend that the defense has been making coordinated efforts to introduce partisan political attacks and unrelated issues into the case, public declarations and legal actions. The brief emphasizes how crucial it is to keep the trial focused solely on factual evidence and legal limitations. It strongly argues that permitting unrelated misinformation to infiltrate the proceedings may put the jury's capacity to carry out its sacred duty of discovering the truth in jeopardy. Trump's apparent desire to compromise the integrity of the probe by requesting access to evidence related to suspected malfeasance in the inquiry constitutes a central component of this motion. Strong evidence suggests that Trump's allegations, such as his purported cooperation with the Biden administration, are completely unfounded and are merely smokescreens. This text draws attention away from the case's essential facts by stressing how crucial it is to prevent the trial from becoming a forum for pointless political debates. The motion emphasizes the need to prevent the defendant from raising unrelated topics during the cross-examination of the government's law enforcement witnesses, by emphasizing that the trial's focus should be on the law and the facts rather than political rhetoric. It makes the case against letting Trump bring up irrelevant topics that would mislead the jury. Another important feature of the motion is its attempt to prevent Trump from informing jurors about potential consequences if he is found guilty. Furthermore, it aims to dissuade Trump from accusing law enforcement of not having done enough to prepare for the Capitol unrest. On January 6, the legal team of former President Donald Trump made a motion to dismiss the ongoing legal matter, alleging a biased and spiteful prosecution by the legal team of former President Donald Trump, who alleges a biased and spiteful prosecution. The motion references remarks made by Biden both before and after his election, alleging that these remarks show an intent to block Trump's political aspirations on a politically motivated basis. How do you feel about this topic? According to the Epoch Times on Wednesday, December 27, please leave a comment and share your thoughts. Let's have a discussion in the comments section. President Trump's legal approach argues that President Biden's comments against him exhibit blatant bias, fostering an environment where the prosecution is driven by political expediency rather than a desire for justice. The defense argues that this bias jeopardizes the fairness of the court process and is part of a bigger campaign to harm Trump's political prospects. Prosecutors, however, are retaliating against Trump's action, arguing that any talk of selective and vengeful prosecution is irrelevant to the case. They argue that President Trump cannot claim that his allegedly fraudulent statements are shielded from investigation or that the First Amendment shields him from punishment. Judge Tween previously dismissed similar claims, aligning with this stance. Who, earlier in the litigation, dismissed similar claims. Prosecutors' main defense against these claims is that they introduce an inherent bias into the proceedings. They argue that allowing Trump to assert immunity and First Amendment protection for his statements could sway the jury's decision and undermine the legitimacy of the trial. The acrimonious judicial proceedings pertaining to these cases underscore the precarious intersection of law and politics. President Trump's team believes that the legal challenges he faces are politically motivated, as evident in his defense strategy. By referencing President Biden's remarks, the defense is attempting to portray the case as part of a broader effort to undermine Trump's authority and reputation. On the other side, prosecutors argue that Trump's attempts to distance himself from particular legal claims are unfounded and that allowing them would unnecessarily introduce a biased element into the proceedings. The back and forth over these issues sets the stage for a judicial battle that delves deeper than the specific charges leveled against Trump and addresses the more general question of how political statements and posturing can impact court cases. The legal drama surrounding this case is sure to have an impact on public perceptions of the justice system and the political gamesmanship that often accompany high-profile trials, even outside of the courtroom. An online survey of 3,192 U.S. people revealed that the nation is acutely aware that this case might establish a precedent with far-reaching implications for the intersection of law and politics in the U.S. An astounding 54% of respondents support the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to prevent former President Donald Trump from participating in the state's primary election. This decision is supported by nearly 25% of Republicans, a quick YouGov survey indicates. On Thursday, December 21, 2023, the New York Post published an article claiming that they either entirely or partially support the court's ruling. The video will explain everything. Before I continue, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you may start receiving our daily news. Many thanks. As it happened, this proves that there was a lot of support. However, 35% of respondents opposed the concept, while an additional trillion% expressed uncertainty. In any case, slightly more than 14% of Republicans and more than 84% of Democrats are in agreement with the Colorado Supreme Court's ruling, per the survey. The media reported that 35% of self-identified independent voters were against the controversial decision, while 48% were in favor of it. In reaching their decision, 3/4 of the court's justices referenced the 14th Amendment. This language, sometimes referred to as the Insurrection Clause or Disqualification Clause, prohibits democratically elected judges in Colorado from taking any part in an uprising or insurrection. I found out that President Trump made these decisions on January 6, 2021. The majority of the court noted in its post-decision statement, cited in Wednesday's AP piece, that he met this requirement by characterizing his involvement in the uprising that day as open, voluntary, objective, and direct. The court did not reach a conclusion regarding the likelihood of reoffending. We recognize that the challenges we are currently confronting are significant and grave. Moreover, we recognize the seriousness of our duty to enforce the law impartially, without fear or partiality, and without public influence on the decisions that the law forces us to make. We will postpone this ruling until January 4, 2024, to allow Trump's legal staff to review it. Trump's legal team will have time to submit an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. On the High Court's position, however, a great deal of speculation has been present. 43% of the participants in the YouGov survey believe that the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn the Colorado verdict, while 23% believe it will be upheld. A significant 34% expressed doubt about the final choice. Let us know what you think in the comments section below while you wait. Please give us a thumbs up if you thought this video was insightful. In response to the major news that the Colorado Supreme Court had removed Trump from the ballot, the FBI just burst into Trump's home this evening with the intention of holding him captive and initiating another thorough search. I will go over everything in depth with you in this brief video. Before I begin, let me just add that if you enjoy what we do and would like to receive updates on a regular basis, simply click the subscribe button and enable alerts to begin receiving daily news from us. I am grateful. Following Trump's removal from the ballot by the Colorado Supreme Court, the FBI made a significant revelation. A new legal case against the former President of the United States is pending in Colorado after state Supreme Court justices decided to prevent him from seeking the presidency in 2024. The party brief Conservative reported on Tuesday, December 26, 2023, that Trump's alleged involvement in the January 6, 2021, Capitol insurrection and 2024 presidential run prompted the decision. Despite constitutionalists contending that the 14th Amendment's insurrection provision was virtually repealed a century ago, the FBI intervened to investigate threats of violence against the Colorado Supreme Court justices who rendered the decision, even though Trump was neither prosecuted nor found guilty of this felony. Law enforcement in federal, state, and local agencies must keep an eye out for possible threats on internet forums as tensions continue to rise. An impartial research group has found calls for the release of 4 Colorado judges' personal information along with incendiary statements on extremist forums. The judges are all female. Although no particular danger has been found, the analysis points to the possibility of violence from a single person or a small group. A far-right pro-Trump website user posted a scary remark expressing dismay about the ruling, suggesting that Colorado judges should be hanged along with rats. The FBI actively looks into any threats or acts of violence inspired by extreme ideologies in collaboration with local law enforcement. Ty Cobb, a former federal prosecutor, gained notoriety for his support of the Trump administration amid the Mueller probe. Cobb believes the U.S. Supreme Court will overturn the ruling from the Colorado Supreme Court. Cobb thinks the matter will be resolved swiftly and that 9/10 will rule in Trump's favor unanimously. It draws attention to the crucial topic of whether Trump meets the requirements of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to be an officer of the United States. Cobb's reasoning was predicated on Chief Justice Roberts' 2010 defense of the idea that Americans do not elect their leaders in free enterprise. He clarified that the phrase in Article 2 normally relates to appointed authorities and that the President and Vice President are specifically mentioned in the Constitution in words like impeachment. The legal battle is closely followed by the nation, and the Supreme Court's ruling might significantly impact the interpretation of constitutional requirements regarding presidential status and Trump's political destiny. The FBI's involvement demonstrates the seriousness of the threats to Colorado judges. Ty Cobb and other legal experts anticipate prompt and forceful intervention from the Supreme Court in this highly explosive issue, which might have implications for Trump's political position and constitutional interpretation. In addition, the FBI has begun looking into claims that Colorado Supreme Court justices have been threatened with death after they decided not to let Donald Trump run in the state's primary election. As HuffPost reported on Monday, December 25, 2023, security personnel had to step in to maintain calm as threats against the justices who handed down a landmark 43 ruling, citing Trump's purported involvement in the January 6 uprising, turned to the internet and over the phone. Insulting correspondence submitted to the judges spiked after the court's ruling, suggesting growing conflicts over Trump's political beliefs. Law enforcement had to immediately take action to protect the judges who faced threats from a variety of phone calls and internet platforms. It makes sense that the contentious ruling, which prohibited Trump from taking part in the state primary due to a statute prohibiting rebels from holding public office, has sparked strong feelings. The court's findings that the former president actively participated in an insurrection have further fueled the contentious narrative surrounding his involvement in the events of January 6. The FBI's Denver office public affairs officer, Vicky Magoya, affirmed that the organization was aware of the circumstances and was collaborating with regional law enforcement. I sincerely appreciate you staying until the very end. Please share your thoughts about this news with us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. See you in the upcoming news. America, God bless you. Goodbye.